Why did I win Counselor of the Year? I won Counselor of the Year? Oh my goodness, I won Counselor of the Year. That's awesome. Oh, I have no idea why I won Counselor of the Year.
Punishment and discipline is can be a very controversial topic, especially these days when there's so many ideas about it. I view discipline as a whole process in dealing with an individual to develop character in their lives. So it involves activities and discussions and things that play into their whole development, the development of their character. It involves rewards for positive behavior, but also consequences for negative behavior. I think sometimes punishment is used as a synonym for consequences for negative behavior. And I think when your approach is only to give consequences or only to react to negative behavior from children, that you could very easily produce rebellion. And so approaching the whole child, disciplining them, building character as opposed to just reacting to their negative behavior.
Why did I win Counselor of the Year? Why did I win Counselor?
I'm excited about being part of the Lenawee Christian Ministries as a whole. I've been a part of the school side for just a little over 7 years, and I enjoy working with children and in that setting and at Lenawee Christian Ministries, because I believe that there's a lot of programs that deal with children. There's a lot of programs even in this area that deal with children, but none of them work so hard to lift up the name of Jesus Christ and to do it through excellence and class. I think that Lenawee Christian Ministries, the impact camps, and the other things that are involved with that keep Jesus Christ the focus, and yet they realize that when it comes to facilities and programs and staff, that there's a level of excellence that needs to be kept because it reflects on who Jesus is. And so I'm excited about continuing my involvement with Lenawee Christian Ministries, and I've certainly enjoyed being a part of it.
Did I win Counselor of the Year? Okay, so you know how some people can jump really high, like while they're playing basketball, and they like slam the basketball through the hoop. What is that called? What is that called? Dunking. Oh, that makes me like donuts. Well, that's definitely not why I won Counselor of the Year. Why did I win Counselor of the Year?
As far as responsibilities when it comes to working with impact campers, I think my primary responsibility will be to promote safety and the welfare of those who come to our camp. And so I think that involves flexibility, being flexible to step in wherever I'm needed for the good of the campers. I also think that involves being part of the team and participating in the planning and also the implementation of the plan, because I think it's valuable for a team of leaders when they're leading children to present a united front. And so being part of the team, supporting the team, playing into the cohesiveness of the team, again, for the good of the campers. And I think it's also my responsibility to continue to point our campers in the direction of Jesus Christ. And I don't mean necessarily being a Bible thumper, I guess, for lack of a better term, but through my attitude and through my demeanor and through my interaction with the campers to present to them someone who carries the name of Jesus Christ. And so that's definitely a responsibility that I take seriously, and I think it's important when it comes to interacting with children.
Why did I win Counselor of the Year? Oh, you know how some people have those shoes that make them run really fast and jump really high? It's not my shoes. Why did I win Counselor of the Year?
5 words to describe myself. I think these are 5 words that I can be described as, but they're also words that I work very hard to live up to. One of them is Father. I'm learning what that word means and the joy that that brings, but also the responsibility that comes with it. And just recently becoming a father has totally turned my world upside down, and I'm loving every minute of it. And so that's a term that I enjoy being called, and also something that I'm trying very hard to live up to. Another one is husband. I enjoy being married, and the benefits that come from having a partner to approach life with, and yet that's also a term that I work very hard to fulfill. Another one is teacher. That's my identity. I enjoy teaching in and out of the classroom. It's my nature, and yet I realize that there are definite responsibilities that come along with that sometimes can be difficult to live up to. Another one that I try to be is friend. I try to be friendly, and I try to be committed to the people that I spend my life with. And lastly, but certainly not least, is disciple. I am passionately pursuing Jesus Christ, and some days I do that better than others, and yet I want him to be seen in my life, and I want to lift him up so others can see him as well. And so I would be honored to be called a disciple, and I also realize that it's a very big task that Jesus has called us to as far as following him. And so those 5 terms that I think describe me.
Why did I win Counselor of the Year? Okay, you know how sometimes people play on a team and they get like all-state champ? I knew someone who made all-state champ one time. No, I don't think that's it.
Coming up with games for children ages 6 to 11 or whatever the age might be, it can be a lot of fun, especially when maybe the planned activity falls through due to weather or whatever. Sometimes it's fun to pick up some resources that you have around you, such as pool noodles and beach balls, and come up with a game on your own. The thing to keep in mind is that most children enjoy games that they're familiar with, and so putting a new twist on a game that they're probably familiar with keeps it exciting enough for them to enjoy, and yet familiar enough for them to understand how to play and how to win. And so creating just a little bit of competition between 1 or 2 kids or a group of kids, depending on how many you have, can be pretty easy using safe and commonly occurring items. So the game that I've designed, I call it Beach Ball Relay, and it's basically, the object of the game is to get from the starting point to the finish line first. It's a race, and you can play it between 2 people on different teams, or you can play it with 2 different teams of multiple people, or 3 or 4, depending on how large the group is. And you just map out your boundaries, and you could use something that you have, like pool noodles, or naturally occurring boundaries. And the idea is to start at the starting point and to bat the beach ball towards the finish line and wait until it stops moving. Go and pick it up and bat it again, go and pick it up and bat it again. Of course, it could be played inside or outside, and if you have a team of 3 or 4 or 5 kids, they would cycle through like a relay. And so that's the idea. I'll give you a demonstration in a little bit.
Why did I win Counselor of the Year? Well, I'll tell you, I am not the most athletic person, and so I know that's not the reason. I'm actually that guy, that kid who would sit in the corner hoping not to be noticed. And when teams were chosen, I was usually the last one picked. And so I notice those kids. I notice those kids everywhere. I realize now that I'm an adult that I probably wasn't that much alone, not as alone as I thought I was. And so I notice those kids, and I make it my mission to make them feel welcome, and I make it my mission to make sure that they respect themselves. I demand that they value themselves and that they feel valued. And so I think if I were to ask one of those campers, he would probably tell me the reason he voted for me for Counselor of the Year is because I rooted for him. That's probably why I was Counselor of the Year.